Nation Sports Show. Breaking news in the National Football League. Devondre Campbell, who plays the linebacker position with the San Francisco 49ers, has been suspended for the final 3 games of the 2024 NFL regular season due to refusing to enter and play with San Francisco following multiple injuries that took place during the second half on Thursday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams. Following the game's conclusion, star tight end George Kittle, along with other teammates as well, rightly so, were critical and disappointed of Campbell's actions, refusing to be there for San Francisco during a critical spot of their regular season, fighting for their playoff lives and a slim shot at getting back in to the NFC West Division title race. This latest loss by the 49ers just may have ended their season for good. Tonight, we also bring to you our Week 15 analysis of all of the action in the NFL. We also bring to you our Week 16 prediction battles and the latest breaking news in the NFL as multiple injuries went down in Week 15. The latest breaking news in the NBA, the UFC, and so much more. It's showtime.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
It's a Tuesday night. You know what that means, everybody. It is another live edition of our Nation Sports Show, live here on the World Wide Web, live here on YouTube.com. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of our Nation Sports Show. I am your host for this evening, Stephen Wyand. And before I get to my co-host right now, joining me, you got to put the social media platforms up first on Twitter or X at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and where we are currently live and in color on YouTube.com/Nation Sports Show. Thank you for everybody joining us here tonight. And joining me right now, he is a Washington Commanders football fan. He is an Atlanta Braves fan. He is an all-around good dude, my brother from another mother, JT Joey Thornton. What's going on, man?
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. And all I gotta say is, well, this weather is bipolar.
Yeah, you could say that again. This weather is completely bipolar.
Don't know what it wants to do. Going from the 70s to the 30s, back to the 60s in a matter of 7 days. But hey, that's the South for you. Experience all 4 seasons in 1 week.
Yeah, we literally have had all 4 seasons in 1 friggin' week. I mean, 1 minute it's cold as hell outside during the week. And then today and tomorrow, it's going to be feeling great. And then about a couple of days later, it's going to be back in the 30s. I'm like, great. Make up your mind, Mother Nature.
But regardless of how the weather is outside, we got a lot of sports to get into. Some NBA and, of course, some NFL talk. And, of course, unfortunately, we cannot have Ezra tonight due to something going on with his sister, getting a medical procedure done, or she got it done. Thoughts and prayers going up to Ezra and his sister as she recovers. But hopefully we will have Kevin and, of course, our very own hijacker Mike joining us whenever we get to the pick segment. So without further ado, let's get to it, baby.
Yes, sir, indeed. And I mean, where do we start? I mean, like before we get to the NFL, because that's going to dominate the majority of the show. I know there was something you were telling me about in our pre-show meeting that the NBA is going to be refining their All-Star Weekend festivities. So, Joey, please, without further ado, give everybody out there in the World Wide Web on YouTube and Sportsland the details for the upcoming All-Star festivities next year in 2025.
All right. Just waiting for the article to pull up here. This was as of about 2:45 earlier today. Let's see. First off, for those of y'all that don't know, the NBA All-Star Game this year, or the All-Star Weekend festivities, I should say, will be taking place at the Oracle Arena in San Francisco, California, which is, of course, the home of the NBA's Golden State Warriors. Okay, so obviously, before I get into how the format is going to be this year, I do want to ask you a question, Steven, and I'm pretty sure you're going to hit this one right on the head. What was the main problem when it came to the old All-Star Game format?
Well, the old All-Star Game format it was basically a popularity contest. I mean, everybody was voted in by, obviously voting, for your top players that you wanted on these respective teams, whether it was a coach team by LeBron or Durant or whoever, or the old East versus West, stuff like that. Although that was kind of the norm, but the problem with the All-Star game itself is it was non-competitive because you had all of these big guys, and these guards just running up and down the court,
Exactly, meaning
shooting
there was a lot
threes
of
and dunking and half-court heaves, just a whole bunch of crap. Like nobody cares about the All-Star game anymore.
exactly, which means there was a whole lot of scoring.
Yes.
There was a whole lot of scoring, especially after last year's debacle in Indianapolis, which
Oh, it was
saw
a terrible game.
a final score of 211 to 186, which is, by God, pathetic. But anyway, scoring's not going to be a problem anymore. And here's how. This season's format, my air quotes, is a 4-team, 3-game, 1-night tournament featuring 3 teams of 8 All-Stars each, with the 4th team being the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge for first and second year players. The winning team in all games will be the first to score 40 points, which means each game that is played, 3 games, the winning team, once they get to 40 points, that's ball game.
Good. It's about damn time. Like just this redundance of scoring, 200 points, so 150 points. I mean, over the years, we've seen the numbers just go literally through the roof. It was ridiculous. Like, you didn't even have to watch the game because it was going to be non-competitive. The only quarter that would be somewhat competitive, where players would be somewhat trying if the game was close, was the 4th quarter. I mean,
Right?
because even when Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were playing in these Star games, at least they were competitive. Now, in the last, 10 to 15 years or so, it's been not competitive the majority of the time because all you have are these guys like LeBron and Durant, Kyrie, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, you name it, go down the line of all these great players. They're in there because A, they're popular, and B, everybody likes to see a lot of points scored in the NBA if you're, by today's standards. But if you're old school basketball fans like us, we like to see a little bit of defense as well. I mean,
Yep.
Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, but 15 some odd years ago, when the Los Angeles Lakers faced the Boston Celtics in the 2010 NBA Finals, there wasn't a whole bunch of scoring going on there now, was it?
No, there really wasn't. And trust me.
Correct. Because there was actual defense and players in game 7, that actually gave a shit because, like there was not 100 points scored in Game 7. It was a low-scoring game in Game 7 between the Lakers and the Celtics. And the Lakers pulled out a close victory in that game against the Celtics. That game was predicated on defense by both teams.
Exactly.
Because Kobe rebounded the basketball, Gasol was blocking shots, Andrew Bynum was, causing shots to be alternated and stuff like that. And then you had Kevin Garnett, who was the Defensive Player of the Year in 2008. I mean, the reason why I'm going back into a figurative time machine, people, is to give you an example, even in the NBA Finals, because in the playoffs, you really didn't see, a lot of teams scoring 130, 145 points during that time. Yeah, you saw teams maybe would score 120, 125 from a time or two, but the scoring has been ramped up. And honestly, Joey, and I know Kevin will hate me for saying this, but it's my opinion. Oh, well. You want to know who's honestly at fault for the reason why we are having a lot of the points being scored now? And not just the regular season, but in the playoffs and in the All-Star festivities and the NBA Finals. And that team, in my opinion, is the Golden State Warriors. Because, yes, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson single-handedly changed the game of professional basketball because they were running up and down the three-point line, jacking up threes, and hitting a lot of crazy threes. And Stephen Curry, as we all know, we can all agree that Stephen Curry single-handedly changed the ways that a point guard or shooting guard shoots from behind the three-point line. Because Curry could take a 35-footer or a 40-footer, and back in the day, that was considered a bad shot. By today's standards, it's not, because Klay and Steph and these Luka, Kyrie, you name it, Devin Booker, are jacking up these threes that are so beyond the three-point line. By yesterday's standards, that would have been a horrible shot to take. And when Curry single-handedly found that range and changed the game of basketball, everybody and their mother literally were thinking to themselves, the only way we're going to win any game is if we jack up a shit ton of threes. Even my Boston Celtics are guilty of this as well, because last year they led the NBA in threes. The Celtics did end up winning the championship, and that's great, but let's be honest. 15, 20, 35, 40 years ago, teams did not win championships on jacking up a shit ton of threes. They won based on defense. Because in not just basketball, but in the NFL, the NHL, and in baseball, defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. And honestly, if you were to take these players like Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Joel Embiid, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Luka Doncic, I can go on and on and on. Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you were to take those guys and put them back in the 80s and 90s when it was roughhouse NBA, half of those guys, if not all of them, would be absolutely unheard of. Because they would not be putting up the stats that you're seeing in today's game. I mean, check out some of these horrific instances that we saw last year in the All-Star game. Luka Doncic trying a 70-foot jumper.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell throwing a 50-foot underhand inbounds pass. Bam Adebayo inbounding a ball to himself by tossing it off Nikola Jokic's backside. Tyrese Halliburton trying and making 5 3-pointers in a 92-second span. And Damian Lillard capping the night with a 44-foot jumper. What is this crap?
That's what it is. It's crap. That's what it is. It's nonsensical bullshit. Just trying to pad stats. Oh, look at me. I can make 5 3-pointers in a span of 92 seconds. Oh, good for you. What do you want, a trophy? What do you want, a cookie? I mean, give me a break. I mean, it is just ridiculous. how the modern NBA player and fan think these days. They're like, oh, if there's defense in the All-Star game, it's boring. What do you want? Some Whamburgers and some French fries with that meal? Come on. This is ridiculous. I mean, I remember the days as a basketball fan, 15, 20 years ago when you used to see, even in the All-Star game, I would say, Joey, even if, 20, 25 years ago, you didn't see the shit stats that you see these days. You didn't see Kevin Garnett jacking up a shit ton of threes. You didn't see
Nope.
you didn't see Hakeem the Dream Elijah Wyand jacking up threes. You didn't see the mailman who, let's be honest, doesn't deliver on Sundays. Thank you, Scottie Pippen, for that. You didn't see Carmel. Yeah, I just used that.
Yeah, don't tell me you went there, sir.
I did, and you're a Jazz fan. God bless you for having to deal with that, having to face the Bulls and meet your maker, Michael Jordan. 2 times in the finals. But yeah, anyways, you didn't see Karl the Mailman Malone jacking up a lot of threes because he knew his role. He played his role. Hell, you didn't see Tim Duncan doing that 25 years ago because the fundamentals of basketball. That is what the game of basketball is missing these days, is players practicing on not just their shots, but being an overall better defender. Because even though the Celtics last year were taking a lot of threes, they actually played defense. They played as a team playing defense. When the Nuggets won their title a couple years ago, they won not just for their offense, but also for their incredible defense. And that is the one thing that the NBA, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, Joey. Even the finals from 3 years ago between the Suns and the Bucks, that honestly was the last NBA finals that took me back to being that teenager, loving basketball, and just seeing two teams going out there on the court and actually giving a damn and busting their asses on both ends of the floor. I mean, you saw Devin Booker, Chris Paul, you saw Cam Johnson, you saw Drew Holiday, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Chris Middleton, and Bobby Portis, and all these guys just going up and down the floor, just playing great team basketball. It was a competitive 6-game series in the 21 NBA Finals. The first NBA Finals, with 2 small market teams, and it was fun. It was fun. And even though I'm glad that my Celtics won the finals for the first time since 2008, I honestly wish that we would get back to smaller markets actually having a chance on making a run, because the San Antonio Spurs were one of the last teams to make a significant run as a small market organization at winning in the NBA. And not just to mention, Joey, I'm so glad we're leading off with this, because I read a report on Twitter today that the NBA ratings are down. I wonder why. It's what we just talked about, Joey. How the fan today loves to see these teams jacking up a shit ton of trays. They love to see them just running up and down the three-point line, not giving a damn about defense, and getting back on the play. Because there is a lot of times where these young NBA players, rookies and 3 to 4 year players alike, that are not getting back on defense and not protecting the rim and contesting the jump shots.
Yeah, that is a very valid point. That's a very, very valid point. And also, do you want to know the best part of how this All-Star Weekend is going to go down?
How's that?
That is the fact that the team captains that'll be in charge of the 4 teams will not be any current NBA players.
Oh, good!
Because the Rising Stars winner, that's going to be the 4th team, is going to be called Team Candace for retired WNBA star Candace Parker.
Nice.
And then the 3 other teams, the team captains are going to be none other than Inside the NBA TNT analyst Shaquille O'Neal, the round amount of rebound Charles Barkley, and the one and only Kenny Smith.
I like it. I like it. Giving their respect to the TNT crew, the best crew in sports the inside of the NBA crew, Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and Charles Barkley. I mean, that
Yep.
team, since Shaq joined the fray after he retired in 2011, I'm telling you, man, that show, their insights is going to be so missed when the TNT loses the license with the NBA after the 24-25 regular season.
Yeah, it's really gonna suck. It truly is.
As Barkley would say, it's going to be terrible.
Terrible.
Just terrible, terrible. Oh man, I'm so glad we led off with this because this has been a hot button topic I've seen on social media. But anyways, getting back to the task at hand, before we get to the NFL Week 15 analysis, there is a news story that broke yesterday that Devondre Campbell, the linebacker for San Francisco, rightly so, has been suspended by the organization for getting off the bench and walking off the field in Santa Clara during the Thursday night football game against the Los Angeles Rams in the rain in San Francisco, in Santa Clara, as Hijacker would say, to be theoretically correct about the geography location, Santa Clara, California. San Francisco had a right to be pissed off at Campbell's actions, led by George Kittle. George Kittle, as we all know, and as we all have stated on this show, George Kittle is one of the best pound-for-pound tight ends in NFL history. He is a very laid-back kind of guy. But what do I always say, Joey? What have I said to you guys? Don't mess with the quiet ones. And George Kittle voiced his displeasure with DeAndre Campbell.
Well, serves him right, because, I mean, for one thing, Campbell was told that, yes, you're going to be our starting linebacker for the time being. But there may be a time where whoever's on the bench or injury list will come back. And with their talent that they are going to bring back to the organization, there may be a time where we have to sub you out and put the other guy in. And he was told this at the beginning of the season. So now, all of a sudden, it's a problem saying, I mean, and Dre Greenlaw, the guy who Campbell was replacing, he was literally playing his first game back, and then he had to leave again in the second half because of that nagging foot injury. But Campbell was like, oh no, I mean, you don't replace me at the beginning of the game, so if I can't play the whole game, then I'm not playing at all. Fuck this, I'm out of here.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, he literally just pulled an Antonio Brown 2.0.
Hey man, Antonio Brown looked like a freaking idiot. I mean, because at least Antonio Brown played the game with the Buccaneers when he walked off the field.
Yeah.
Campbell didn't even do this. He just said, fuck this shit, and just walked off the field. Like, it's ridiculous. And I know Kevin on Facebook, as a longtime Niners fan like myself, he was very upset, as was I. Because when this news came down, I'm like, you just took the air out of the football team. This game was still competitive. It was still close. Yeah, it was a defensive game. But the wind was taken out of their sails when he walked off the field. I mean, you single-handedly just killed any possible shot that San Francisco had at getting into the playoffs because of your selfish ass behavior. You know what? Kevin's also right about this. What he posted on Facebook yesterday when San Francisco posted that they were suspending Campbell. I agree with Kevin. Hit him where it hurts the most, in his pockets. He ain't getting paid a damn thing.
Nope.
Hit him where it hurts the most. Because the minute you mess with somebody's money, that's when they start reconsidering their actions. And that's what's wrong with today's athletes.
And see, and I also get the fact that, I mean, dang, I just have a train of thought. Oh, here it is. So, I mean, I get the fact that you're upset that you didn't, I mean, that you're not starting the game. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
get that.
Sure.
But at the same time, football is a team game. A team
T
game.
Team. Team.
I mean, football is a team game. It is not an individual sport. I mean, what the freak did Campbell expect it was going to be? Him play all 11 positions and try to win the ball game? Please. No. No, 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 no. And I mean, I get the fact that, I don't really get the fact, but he was an absolute jerk, and he deserves to be suspended without pay for the final 3 games of the season. And quite honestly, I get the fact that Kyle Shanahan said that he didn't want to release Campbell because another team might say, oh, wow, he really took a stand up against them. So maybe we need to sign him to our roster since he's not afraid to take a stand. But, and I mean, then again, Shanahan does have a point, though, because Campbell is now not being paid for the rest of the season. Whereas if he would have gotten released and another team would have picked him up, he would have probably played those final 3 games, whoever it was, maybe even longer if they got to the playoffs, and he would have gotten even more money in his pocket.
Yeah.
So smart move on Shanahan.
Very smart move. I mean, just think about it. Like all of the injuries, the deaths that San Francisco has been hit with and dealt with all year long. If you thought the Super Bowl hangover blues was worse in 2019, in the 2020, 23 and the 24 said, hold my beer. Because this has been one of the worst post Super Bowl losses on a team that made it to the Super Bowl, that did not make it not just back to the Super Bowl, but is probably not even going to sniff a playoff berth because San Francisco has been dealt so many obstacles and you can't overcome all of this stuff at once. But what you can do, and I think if Campbell didn't do what he did, I think they could have had a shot to maybe have a slim chance of getting in. But by Campbell doing what he did, this just took all of the air out of this football team because Brock Purdy isn't happy. Christian McCaffrey, do you think he's happy having to be out for the rest of the season? No. He
No.
actually tried to come back and did play a couple of games before he got hurt against Buffalo in the snow a few weeks ago. So if I'm Campbell, I am going to be sitting there by myself and reconsidering what I just did. Because honestly, Joey, he owes Shanahan and this organization a sincere, legitimate apology. Because if he doesn't, then he needs to be cut.
Agree. I totally agree with that.
We're not sitting here at the top of the hour, going into the bottom of the hour, almost at 7:30 while this as this is airing live. We're not talking about what's happening on the field. We are talking about a young, selfish prick. His actions is costing his team football games. We're talking about a young man who does not know nothing. He does not know right from wrong. To be a good citizen to his team and his organization, and his character flaws are showing. Because instead of thinking about the team and understanding, hey man, our guy just went out again. Greenlaw just went out again. You got to come in. He threw up the middle finger and said, "Fuck you. I ain't coming in and playing shit." And you know what? If he doesn't apologize, like I said, Joey, I don't care if it's at the start of the off season. He needs to be let go. And you know what? I would have suspended him the second he was on the field, walking off that field. Hey, Campbell. What? Oh yeah, you know what? What? You're suspended. Now get the hell off the field. Like, this is bad. And you know what? This will not be tolerated. And even if I wasn't a San Francisco 49ers fan, I would be saying this because all organizations across the NFL landscape will take notice of this, stupid behavior by DeAndre Campbell. Because Campbell was a young player, and honestly, Joey, again, let me ask you this. After this crap that he pulled, do you think that Campbell will ever be on another football team, even if they are down a linebacker or two? I say no. What do you think?
Well, I honestly believe anything is possible. But as far as Campbell is concerned, it honestly don't matter to me if he never plays another down of professional football.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always going to be one team out there that says, "Oh, well, we are so weak at the linebacker position. We need to go on and get all the help we can get." So,
You're not wrong, but at the same time, if it were me and I was running a football team, he ain't gonna be on my roster. That's the kind of character traits you're gonna be showing to your football team.
exactly.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But before we continue, shout outs to Big T here in the chat. What's up, Big T?
Big T, what up, big dog?
What's going on, man? Hey, even though I'm not a Panther fan, Big T, don't let these guys fool you. The Carolina Panthers, I can honestly say, the Carolina Panthers are actually playing pretty good football. Not going to deny. The record may suck, but at least they're actually being competitive the last several weeks and giving teams fits. So there's that.
Yep.
Now, to get to what we come to talk about on this show, the games. And I do want to start out with this one. I know we're going to jump around a little bit here. But the big one for me is the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions.
Oh, talk about a shootout.
Buffalo went in there and they meant business. And you saw my reaction to picking this game last week. I was very hesitant because in the back of my mind, I was thinking Buffalo probably could win this game, and they probably will, and they did. Buffalo went in there and they made Detroit's defense look bad to the point where Detroit was questioning, like, how the hell do we stop Josh Allen in this team?
Speaking of which, you told me to do this before we even went into the game highlights from this past week.
No. I said before we get to the pick segment.
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha. But
Yeah.
I do have Kevin Roy's scores from last week, and I will be reading those before we get to the pick segment.
Yep. But yeah, Buffalo played a great game because in the back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, even though I did pick Detroit, I said on the show, I did not feel good about Detroit winning this game. Because in the back of my mind, I would have not have been surprised if Buffalo went in their building and put a whooping on them, and they did. Even though the game was a close score, Detroit had to make a comeback to get back in this game. Buffalo played great. Josh Allen, once again, the freak of freaks on that football field. 2 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns. Another great performance by him and James Cook, the running back.
I'm telling you, Josh Allen, he is making a case for MVP.
And I know Lamar Jackson has the nice, sexy stats, but in my opinion, Josh Allen needs to be the MVP. Because without Josh Allen, no one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody.
Josh Allen is the reason why this team is where they are.
Buffalo, you got to admit, Buffalo has been sort of a secret killer, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
Because Buffalo has been the lone team responsible for stopping multiple game winning streaks this season. Because think, earlier this year, they beat the Chiefs, stopping their 14 or 15 game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
And then this past Sunday, they beat Detroit, stopping their 11 game win streak.
They did. And the one thing about this game that really stuck out to me like a sore thumb is Dan Gambling Campbell going for a onside kick in the second half. Now, I get in a way why he did it. Because in his mind, he's thinking, we're not going to be able to stop Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So I get kind of why he did it, but that's where you live on that hill and you'll die on that hill if you're Dan Campbell. Because got to give Campbell a lot of credit, for trying to swing for the fences and get the ball back to his football team.
Yeah.
So I can't fault him for that. Because if he's going to go for a fourth and 2 on their own 30, if he's going to go for a 4th and 5 on Green Bay's side of the field 2 weeks ago, from their end of the field, he's going to go for an onside kick. And got to give Campbell a lot of credit, and unfortunately, for the Lions, they did suffer a major loss in this game, not just the loss, but David Montgomery is out for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs with a sprained MCL, and he had to have surgery. Now, I know in Detroit, they're going to rally the troops, next man up. And that's the one thing I can say about this football team, is that this would have been the old Lions, they would have crumbled in a heap. When Aiden Hutchinson went out with that horrific graphic injury to his leg against Dallas, what happened? Next man up. Defensive players that they either signed from the practice squad or other players that they signed from the free agency market, they stepped up. There's going to be a running back that they can probably get on the market if they wanted to. Hell, holy shit. I just thought of this, Joey. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a free agent. He's on the market.
That's right.
They can probably get him if they wanted to. Speaking of that, real quick side note, I just said it. Spoiler alert, Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been released by the 2-time back-to-back Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. He had a really good run with the team, winning 2 Super Bowls the last couple of years, and he is a solid running back. And knowing Detroit, they're going to probably try to seek his help, because
that is true.
Edwards-Helaire has been in these big spots. And maybe he could be the secret weapon that can get, Jahmyr Gibbs and company to the promised land. Who knows?
That is true. There could also be some other teams that might look into the services for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, including, whether you want to believe it or not, my Washington Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever we lost Austin Eckler to the IR, we pretty much only have Brian Robinson Jr. and Chris Rodriguez right now as our only running backs.
Yep.
So we could use a complimentary number 2 back to back up B-Rob whenever he needs to take a breather off the field for a play or two. Yep. And also Clyde Edwards-Helaire has somewhat of a connection with Washington, because former Kansas City Chiefs offensive line coach Anthony Lynn, who was the former head coach of the Chargers, is the running back coach for the Washington Commanders.
Good point.
So, there could be a lot of teams interested in bringing in Edwards-Helaire. I just hope that, and this is not for the team or for Edwards-Helaire himself, but whoever makes the jerseys. Because if Clyde Edwards-Helaire does join another team, make sure you spell his last name right on the back of his jersey.
Oh.
Because I will never forget that Come On Man from years ago when they pointed out that Edwards-Helaire's jersey was spelled H-I-L instead of H-E-L.
Come on.
Which, by the way, I really do miss Come On Man.
I know. Come on, man. Anyways, congratulations to Buffalo on a hell of a victory. Once again, being a thorn in all these great teams' sides, because they did it to the Chiefs, stopping their undefeated streak, and they stopped the Lions' winning streak at 11. Impressive. Buffalo is making a case to making a run in the AFC side of the playoff bracket in the NFL for 24-25. Moving on, speaking of the playoff side of things, the Philadelphia Eagles continued to roll as well as they dominated Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers en route to a 27-13 victory led by, once again, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. They said in the media, oh, there's problems in Philadelphia. Really? I don't think so after this performance. This team is on fire.
Well, I mean, yes, they are on fire, but there are reports going around saying that some of the Philadelphia Eagles fan or players, I should say, are a little disgruntled with other team members in the on the team itself.
Well, that might be true, but at the same time, they're still winning games.
Yeah, they're still winning games.
No, whatever they're
So
doing to fire each other up, they're still winning these games. I don't
Yes,
know what it is.
So I guess the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Speaking of it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why not use Lamar Jackson as that secret weapon? Baltimore dominated. Dominated. Lamar Jackson once again had 5 touchdowns in this game. I believe they played the Panthers. No, not Panthers. I'm sorry.
The Ravens, they played the the Giants.
Giants. That's right. Panthers played
Yeah, the Panthers played the Cowboys.
Yeah, Panthers played the Cowboys. Yep. But the Giants were no match for Lamar Jackson and company. I mean, 5 TDs in this game. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Moving around a little bit, the Packers beat up on Seattle on Sunday Night Football 30-13. This was no contest. I mean, they sacked the living crap out of Geno Smith 7 times. And then he got injured with a knee injury. And then was replaced in the game by your former quarterback, Sam Howell. And he got destroyed. I mean,
Sam who?
whoo.
I mean, we got JD5 now, so who needs Sam Howell?
That's true. That's true. And the Houston Texans once again found a way to win a game. I mean, let's face it, Houston has not been really as good this year as they were last year, but they still found a way to get a victory against the Dolphins. And Tua turned the ball over, reared its ugly head once again. Jesus Christmas. I mean, 3 interceptions in this game. Oh, Lord have mercy. Just Tua turned the ball over. It was not a good day at the office for Mr. Tagovailoa. It was not a good day at the office for him. Just not a good performance.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was not good. Not good. And speaking of not good, I mean, just ugh. Not good if you're a Bears fan. Again, sorry, we're jumping around here, but screw it. The Bears have lost their 8th consecutive game as of last night against the Vikings, getting destroyed on Monday Night Football.
You know, I honestly hate to point fingers, but I honestly believe the whole season ended for Chicago, and I'm sorry to say this about Ezra's team, but I think the whole season ended for Chicago when Tyree Stevenson decided to act like an idiot and tipped a Hail Mary to Noah Brown in the Commanders game.
Unreal. Unreal.
It's
And also on Sunday, jumping back to the Sunday portion, the Bengals got a much needed victory to stay alive, beating the Titans 37-27. Joe Burrow had a great game in this, and so did his teammate of LSU himself, Jamar Chase. Once again, 6+ catches in this game, another touchdown, over 100 receptions for the 24-25 regular season. Unbelievable. this tandem has been so dominant since they have come together.
Oh yeah.
See, Packers beat the Seahawks, like I said, 30-13. Like I said, 27-13. Philadelphia over Pittsburgh. Buffalo 48-42 over Detroit. Cardinals get a much needed victory.
Yeah, they did over the Patriots.
Yes, they did. They dominated the Patriots in this game. I mean, it was not no contest at all. I mean, and one of the weirdest games that all of us got correct. I don't know how we did, but the Jets and the Jaguars had one of the weirdest games of this year's schedule.
Hi, you know what? There is a guy that I work with, who works in the HR department. He is a huge New York Jets fan, and he keeps trying to pick on me in a funny way, of course, because of me being a Washington fan and saying how Aaron Rodgers is this, Aaron Rodgers is that, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, and see, and today he tried to bring up the whole Jason Campbell nonsense, and I'm like, listen, buddy, I got a name for you. Yes, he went to 2 AFC championships, which he lost both of them, but that's not what he's going to be remembered as. He's going to be remembered as the guy who fumbled the ball after running into the backside of his offensive lineman, otherwise known as the butt fumble, Mark Sanchez.
Yep.
But yeah, the Jets, I mean, oh, and he was saying that the whole connection between Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams is back.
Meaningless. It didn't even matter.
Listen here. The Jets, yes, they won, but they played the Jaguars.
Jets beat the Jaguars.
You don't even know what the word defense means.
Nope. Jets beat the Jaguars 32-25 in a weird game.
No, I forgot. They didn't play the Jaguars. They played the Contana Jaguars.
Contana Jaguars. Jets beat the Jaguars 32-25 in a wacky game. The Buccaneers, holy Christmas, they beat the crap out of the Chargers.
Yes,
40-17. They hung 40 on one of the best defense this year. I mean, Baker Mayfield had an outstanding game, and so did Mike Evans. A couple of TDs in this game. I mean, this Bucs team, unlike the Falcons, and oh boy, we're going to get to that one. Trust me. The Buccaneers played an outstanding game, dominated Justin Herbert and company. They made that defense look putrid.
Absolutely putrid.
Like I said, the Cowboys beat the Panthers 30-14. Carolina, for once this year, went back to the factory of sadness from early on this year and not being competitive. But for the last couple of weeks, Carolina has been competitive. I will say that. Let's see.
They have.
Moving down the scores. Yep. Ravens 35, Giants 14. Touched on that game. Lamar Jackson had 5 touchdowns in the game. Mark Andrews became the all-time Raven touchdown leader, breaking Jamal Lewis's record of 47. He is now in the record books with 48 TDs with Baltimore.
Yep. Oh, and how about one of the biggest debacles that actually took place this past Sunday? And that is the fact that the Indianapolis Colts, once again, were on the wrong side of a trick play. Trick play. Once again, on the wrong side. After the whole fake punt disaster, they tried to do a multilateral trick play, but that was easily picked off and taken back for a touchdown.
Oh, Joey, real quick, you know what also the biggest debacle was?
What's that?
Jonathan
Taylor, yes. Dropping the ball at the 1-yard line. When is it going to stop?
You have not crossed the end zone.
When is it going to stop?
Again, if it's a rookie player, 1 year player, I kind of get it, but still. But if you've been in this league for 4 to 5 plus years, you should know what the hell the rules are. Come on.
Exactly.
Because that could have been 20 points on the board for the Colts. But no, Jonathan Taylor had to drop the ball at the 1 yard line. Idiot. Denver rolls
Idiot.
over Indianapolis 31-13. Oh, oh,
Pathetic.
horrible. Like we touched upon earlier, the Cardinals beat up on the Patriots 30-17, getting a
Oh,
much
but
needed
how
victory.
about one of the biggest injury news that took place this past Sunday? Patrick Mahomes
Oh, yeah.
with an ankle injury. Yes, the Chiefs won 21-7, but it may have come at a pretty significant price.
Yeah, because Patrick Mahomes has injured that ankle again. And I agree with experts, man. I really think that they need to rest him. They need to rest him but at the same time, in a way, I think he's still going to find a way to play because, as we all know,
Oh yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes.
if you sit for a long period of time, your playing can be reduced as far as the results on the field.
Oh
He'll
yeah,
play. He'll play. He will play.
for sure.
He will find a way to play.
Let's see. Is there any games that we've been missing? Oh, how about the game involving the last second touchdown that shouldn't have even happened? The Commanders and the Saints.
Yes. By the skin of their teeth, Washington survived.
Yes, but like I said, that touchdown should not have taken place because that referee clearly did not know what he was doing and stopped the clock with 9 seconds left, giving the Saints time to run a couple plays, including get that touchdown right as time expired. But the referee should never have stopped that clock. And they even talked to the head ref himself, Ed Hakuli. And he even said that that referee should not have stopped that clock. He should have let that clock keep going to where that last second touchdown by the Saints would have never even been a play in the first place.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad mistake. And let's be honest, Joey, if the Saints would have won that game, Commanders fans like you and everybody else would have been severely affected and pissed off, rightly so.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It would have been a disaster.
Big time disaster. But let's see. I'm trying to look at any more games that we still need to cover.
Oh, yeah.
Did we cover the Cowboys and the Panthers yet?
A little. We just talked about how just briefly, but
Yeah.
Cooper Rush and company played pretty well. Got to give them credit. They did.
Oh, but how about the game that started off Week 15 action? The Rams and the Niners. We didn't really
That's
talk
right.
about that one yet.
Yep, exactly. There you go. This was a weird game because this was a game.
This was a defensive battle.
This was a old school knockabout, drag-em-out, street fight. Like these two teams pummeled each other, until there was obviously one team left standing, and that ended up being the Rams. But San Francisco had a golden opportunity to win this game and stretch their lead. And like Kevin has said on Facebook, Samuel had
Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel had that critical drop by Purdy that would have given them a touchdown.
But yet, it's also very fitting because Debo Samuel has also said, "Oh, well, they need to give me the ball more. They need to give me the ball more." Well, look what happens when Brock Purdy tries to throw the ball to you. You drop it. So that's why you don't get the ball.
Brutal. Oh.
I mean, it ain't rocket science, people.
No, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. I mean, and again, we touched upon with the Campbell story. You could tell that Nick Bosa and company on the defensive side of the football were obviously pissed off and affected by Campbell's selfish actions because this was all on him. It is ridiculous how this happened because never in my wildest dreams have I ever seen a team who has made a run, whether it be to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, has a player from that team do this to their organization. Because Kyle Shanahan and company have obviously reacted and they did the right thing. And you could just tell by watching that game. And also, it was raining too in Santa Clara as well. I
Yeah,
mean, it was, and it was
it
almost
was
like it was
pitiful
almost,
conditions.
and it was almost like the rain was raining down upon the 49ers season.
Yeah,
I mean, they just couldn't get nothing going. The running game couldn't get nothing going. Purdy had some drops by his receivers, including Debo Samuel. I mean, just a horrible drop by Samuel. And I get that Debo says he wants the ball. He wants the ball. Well, talk is cheap. Put your money where your mouth is, literally, and maybe you'll get the ball thrown your way more. Because honestly, Joey, in my opinion, I think that there's these athletes that you know that cry for the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. That will regress their play on the football field because they are trying to rely on getting numbers and getting stats and being up there with their team. I mean, do you see George Kittle crying about not getting a lot of touches? Because there's a lot of times
heck
where
no,
Kittle, exactly,
heck no.
when even
You don't
okay,
see George Kittle complaining about anything.
even when Christian McCaffrey was healthy, there were times last year he wasn't even the star player of the game. There were
No,
times it was Kittle. There was times it was Ayuk. There was times where it was hell. Even what's his name?
Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell or freaking Debo. I mean, they had a multitude of weapons, that they could turn to. And yeah, the injury bug bit them at the worst possible time this year. But when you think about it, even when the Niners were being successful, George Kittle, even though his numbers weren't up there, at times with when Travis Kelce was putting up his numbers or when Rob Gronkowski was putting up his numbers, there were times where Kittle at times would not get a lot of touches during games because
Right?
there would be a specific player, whether it be Debo, whether it be Christian McCaffrey, whether it be Brandon Ayuk, whether it be Elijah Mitchell, so on and so forth, that would be dominating. Okay, brother, you're getting your touches in the game. Okay, next game, we're gonna try to go to you because when the team is flowing, when the effort on the football field is flowing on both ends of the football field, each side of the football, whether it be offense, defense, or heck, even special teams, will pick each other up when it matters the most because if you don't make the play, that sucks, man, but you know what? We'll get it next play. Just believe. We got this. Instead,
Exactly.
you have players like Campbell who are caring more about themselves than about the team. And again, George Kittle didn't have a lot of numbers in this game against the Rams on Thursday. But did you see him going in his press conference going, damn it, I wish I would have got the ball thrown my way all this time. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah
No,
blah blah
he
blah
was
blah.
he was not doing that. He was
No.
coming at DeAndre Campbell for doing the move that he did. And that is basically literally and figuratively pissing on this organization. Because any time that we have seen in any sport where there has been a star quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or even tight end or defensive player, we have seen it time and time again across the NFL where you will bring in basically an emergency, placement, a security blanket, if you will. You would, bring somebody to be there for your team, when you need it. Because you can't have enough insurance policies on a football team or any sports team there either.
Oh,
because
absolutely not.
because even when Christian McCaffrey was out at the start of the season, you still had Mason. That kid was running his tail off, for San
Uh,
Francisco.
yep, he
And
was.
I'm like, good Lord, if Christian McCaffrey can get back and stay healthy and Mason can stay healthy too, these two guys are going to be a great, 1-2 punch in the NFL. That is the one good thing about that because they picked him up in the draft this past year. And Mason, even though he got injured too, for the most part, he had a really good season for San Francisco this year.
Yes,
So
he
mad
did.
props to him. So if there is one thing that San Francisco can build on this year, even despite the negative effects, from losing the Super Bowl last year in overtime against Kansas City, you have some players in place that you can build upon next season, and you can possibly get pretty good draft for draft prospects, to get there, whether it be in the draft or coming out of the draft next year.
That is a good point.
But yeah, again, the Rams held on, and the Rams have been playing pretty solid football the last several weeks. Just like Carolina, even though Carolina wasn't winning a lot of these games, the Rams have been a thorn in other teams' sides. They gave the Seahawks fits. They've given the Rams obviously fits this past week, and other teams that they've come in contact with, because hell, they even gave the Packers fits. I mean, the Rams are a hard team to figure out. They gave the Lions hell at the early part of the season on the opening Sunday night game of the 24-25 regular season in that classic game. I forgot about that. That was a really good game to consider for game possible, top 5, top 3 games of the year. That was a really good Sunday night game kicking off the season. And even though the Rams lost that game, they were still very competitive on throughout the entire season, led by Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. I mean, good Lord. You talk about a top number 1 and 2 wide receiver tandem. Nacua and Kupp are those two guys. They are so hard to figure out. And honestly, Joey, it would not surprise me. I want to get your thoughts on this. It would not surprise me if the LA Rams possibly not just make the playoffs, but it wouldn't surprise me if they beat Seattle to win the division.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me at all because, I mean, the way things are looking right now, it's going to come down between the Rams and the Seahawks. When they meet in Week 18, that matchup right there is going to determine who wins the NFC West. It would not surprise me at this point.
Now, where it does get interesting, and like we touched upon with Seattle losing this game against the Packers 30-13, now that makes it very interesting because if I'm not mistaken, I know the Rams are 8-6. I think Seattle is 8-6, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So,
because the Rams currently they own, I believe it is the number 4 seed in the playoffs, and the Seahawks are 1 game behind my Commanders right now.
technically, you would be correct because the Rams also own the tiebreaker over Seattle because they beat Seattle in overtime in Seattle.
Yeah.
So that's very telling. Very telling. And oh, by the way, we saved the worst for last. What am I talking about, folks? Yes, that shitty, god-awful, you call a professional football game last night in Vegas? Between the Raiders and the Atlanta Falcons, what a complete snooze fest this game was. If you thought the Niners and at least the Niners and the Rams was a defensive competitive game, this game, on the other hand, was a shit show from hell. From football hell, to be exact. This was awful.
Yes.
You know what, Joey? I will go on record in saying this is right up there with Broncos and Colts from 22.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It was that bad.
I mean, To be honest with you, I am considering making this the worst game of the NFL season in the last couple of years because the one thing about the Broncos and Colts game, that game went to overtime. This game was just flat out boring. This game was bad. Bad.
Well,
Horrible missed tackles, horrible throws, horrible penalty calls, horrible
I will
clock
say one game.
management.
I will say one thing that was a positive note for that snooze fest of a game last night.
What?
Hijacker Mike would have been happy because there was a safety.
Yes, there was a safety. There was a safety in the game. And of all places, it comes in Vegas. How convenient.
Yep, there was a safety in the game, so Hijacker would have been happy.
Oh, God, this game was so bad. And how fitting it was Desmond Ridder going up against his former football team, the Falcons.
Yep, that was also very fitting.
Primetime Kirk was horrible again.
What else is new?
Oh, why do you think we said going into the game we didn't feel good about picking the Falcons in this game?
Yeah.
I mean, the score going into the fourth quarter, it was 12-3.
Yeah.
12-3. That is how bad this game was. It was just
really bad.
not a good game. Not a good game. And
oh, but let's not forget there was one other game because keep in mind Week 15 had not one but 2 Monday night games. The Vikings and the Bears was the other one.
The Vikings and the Bears, and we briefly touched upon the score. The Vikings beating the Bears, but man, oh man. Sam Darnold and company continue to show out they are one of the best football teams this season. And the Bears, they're just the Bears.
Yeah, they're just the Bears.
The Bears, since the Hail Mary, or in this case, the Fail Mary if you're a Chicago fan, after starting 4-2, heading into that game against the Commanders, they have lost their 8th consecutive game. And now Thomas Brown for the Chicago Bears as the interim head coach has lost another consecutive game. Got to give credit to the Vikings. They played very well. Aaron Jones had a great game. Justin Jefferson had a great game. The Vikings defense was swarming on the field. And also, after Buffalo beating Detroit, the Vikings and the Lions have identical 12-2 records.
That's right.
12-2 is both of these organizations' records for the 24-25 regular season campaign. And that game is going to be interesting when it does take place in a few weeks.
Yeah, let me see. I believe that game is taking place... Yes, it is. It is taking place Week 18. Week
Spoiler!
18.
I'm telling you, Joey, this game is going to go to Sunday Night Football, baby.
Oh, big time. And I will go ahead and say that advantage is going to be to Detroit since the game is going to be in Ford Field.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now, he shows up more on time more than LeBron does, leaving basketball games. Hijacker Mike, what's going on, brother?
What's up, y'all? What's going on with it today?
Hijacker, what's going on, big man?
Nothing much, brother. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing just fine. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Just come in here, do a little sports show with y'all on the predictions this upcoming week, and work in the cigar lounge tonight.
Well, Hijacker, before we get to the pick segment, I do want to touch upon that shitty football game last night in Vegas. What in God's name was that? We were just talking about this. This game was so bad. So bad.
Well, it's funny you speak that because I was working the lounge last Thursday when the 49ers and the Rams played, where the Rams won with no touchdowns scored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's just like, I picked the Raiders to win that game because I felt that they were going to be able to take Atlanta on and beat them, but I was wrong. But it's abysmal, dude. Some of these games are just insane. But I guess I can say the New Orleans game, I picked that score 20-19, and that's what happened. That's what the score happened to be in that game.
That's
So I-
right. You did
correct.
call that.
So I got one
Wow.
right this year, and I didn't even pick a safety in that game. How about that?
Oh, speaking of which, like I just told Steven, there was a bright spot in that game last night, and I was like, Hijacker would have been proud because there was a safety in that game last night.
Yeah, I didn't catch the safety. I don't know where it happened, but it's funny because a lot of the fans out here want what's his name? Ritter? Is that how you said Ridley?
Yes,
Ridley?
yeah,
Desmond
Desmond
Ridder.
Ritter. Yep.
Who,
They wanted
granted,
him-
is a
they
former
want
Atlanta
him to-
Falcons quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah, they want him to play, but he's not playing accordingly. I'd say give him another year, but I think the Raiders are going to get that number 1 draft pick, and hopefully they don't fumble that one because Mark Davis is known for fumbling picks.
Well, I don't know. It could come down between the Raiders and the Giants because both of those teams are 2-11.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would bank on the Giants winning something before the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true. God, the Raiders are so bad.
Yeah,
Especially since the Giants need a freaking quarterback.
yeah. How do you get a new stadium and you've put in some horrible years so far in the damn thing?
Yes. Pretty much so. Pretty much so. Although I will say that the Niners and Rams game, even though it was a low-scoring game, it was still a competitive defensive battle.
Yeah, it was an exciting game. They had some high points and plays in there, but it just, you're like, wow, dude, how do we get a game on primetime television that we get nothing but field goals? They don't even sniff the end zone.
But at least it was somewhat more competitive than the Raiders and the Falcons. That was just a flat-out bad game.
Yeah, dude, I'd have much more fun watching dirt grow and dirt doesn't grow.
Oh, Lord.
Hell, the Giants and Panthers Germany game was more competitive and more fun than that game.
Dude, I can go watch freaking Pee Wee football and have more fun there.
Mm-hmm. You can go watch a JV football game, or hell, like Tree said on Twitter yesterday, Joey. He said this by far was one of the worst wins by any team in a long time. He said high school teams play better than this.
Yeah. Well, what's funny? I kind of feel bad for the Raiders because there was one play in the game that that linebacker came through and hit the quarterback, and they gave him a personal foul when he hit the quarterback. That wasn't a bad play, and they kind of got robbed on that one. If you guys remember that play,
Yep.
late in the game, that extended Atlanta's drive before they punted the ball back.
Yep. Real quick, before we get into the pick segment for this week, I do want to ask you about the Detroit and Buffalo game because that was a marquee game on the schedule. And Buffalo went into Detroit's building, and they showed them who was boss for that night. Because Buffalo has been playing some really good football these last several weeks. And Joey said it best, that basically they are that secret killer this season because they're the secret street killer, if you want to call them that, because they beat the Chiefs in Buffalo and knocked them off the undefeated ranks, and then they just ended the Lions winning streak at 11.
Well, Buffalo's going to be that silent killer, man. They're going to come in and I have high hopes that, after the way they've been playing the last few weeks, they're going to take over this AFC.
And who knows? They may beat the Chiefs after all.
Yeah, they just got to hopefully get a chance to get home field advantage because I'd feel more comfortable with them coming through Buffalo to play versus Kansas City in the playoffs.
I agree. And it's hard to believe that next month the playoffs will be here. It is crazy. It's crazy.
It is moving fast, man.
Moving quicker than it has in years past.
Mm-hmm.
They say it time and time again, enjoy the regular season while you can because it'll be gone just like that.
And we got an extra week, too, now in the last couple of years. So, but it seems like it's quicker now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But before we get to this week's picks, in a very unique situation last week, unfortunately, again, we're not going to mention on air because Kevin's been going through a personal thing in his family that they're dealing with. That's why he wasn't on last week. And fortunately, and probably yet again this week, unless or if he does end up joining, or Joey, do you have scores for him this week or no?
I do have scores for him.
Okay.
He said he's not. He doesn't really have it in him this week.
I understand. I mean, again, folks, we're not. Unfortunately, again, we are not going to specify what is going on the air. This is a personal matter that Kevin and his family are dealing with. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to his entire family and what they're going through. It is complete bullshit what they are going through, and again, we're pulling for Kevin, we're pulling for his family, and this is ridiculous. Fortunately for us this week, we do have Kevin's scores for this week, but in a very interesting twist last week, and we said what he has been going through. We're not going to say, oh, if you didn't give your scores during the show, we're gonna, remove you from the battles. We would even count what would have been his score last week during the Rams and Niners game as that was happening, or even afterwards, because obviously the scores came in for last week's games long after the Niners and Rams game was over. So fortunately, Kevin did give his scores for last week. And before we get to our picks for this week, and Joey, since you have Kevin's scores for this week, I will be handling Ezra's scores for this week. So before we get to week 16's prediction battles, rattle off Kevin's picks from week 15's schedule from this past week.
All right, gladly. Let's see. Kevin actually picked the Rams to beat the Niners last week, 27-26. He picked the Commanders over the Saints, 20-14. The Chiefs over the Browns, 23-20. The Bengals over the Titans, 24-18.
Wow.
He picked the Texans over the Dolphins, 27-24. The Ravens over the Giants, 31-10.
Oh my.
The Jets over the Jaguars, 20-16.
Okay.
He actually picked the Panthers over the Cowboys.
Oh, there goes the perfect record.
23-21. He picked the Chargers over the Bucks, 24-21.
Okay.
He picked the Broncos over the Colts, 20-13.
Okay.
He picked the Cardinals over the Patriots, 28-23. He actually sided with me and actually picked the Bills over the Lions, but he went with a much lower score of 27-24.
Okay.
He picked the Steelers over the Eagles, 31-30.
Okay.
He picked the Packers over the Seahawks, 26-24. The Vikings over the Bears, 24-8. And the Falcons over the Raiders, 24-20.
Oh, if only that score lived up to that score from last night.
Right.
Oh, that game was so bad.
So bad.
So bad. But before we get to this week's predictions, rattle off some stats from this past week.
Indeed. Yours truly, the scorekeeper, won last week's Pick'em segment, going 14-2. Steven, you and Kevin finished tied for second, one game behind at 13-3. Ezra went 12-4, and Hijacker rounds out the field going 10-6 last week.
Ooh. Alrighty then. So with that being said, as we always do, we kick it off with Thursday Night Football.
And I do want to say that this game was supposed to be the Browns and the Bengals, but due to a first-time ever schedule change, a Sunday game has been moved to Thursday night's game, and that Thursday game is going to be Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos going to LA to take on Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to go ahead and start things off with Kevin's score. He actually has the Chargers winning this one by a score of 23-21.
I'm going to start with Ezra's score right here. He has the Chargers winning as well, 30-20.
All right. Well, I got the Chargers winning this one 24-22. It's going to be a close game. And I did not know they were moving this to Thursday night. So it's actually kind of good. Is that because of weather in Cincinnati?
No, I think it was just a
Probably a
flex
flex in
change.
schedule.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, just a flex schedule change.
Yep.
But you know what? I mean, as good as Denver has looked over the past couple of weeks, I gotta give the edge to the Chargers since they're playing at home. And this is definitely going to be the Chargers' chance to bounce back after getting their butts handed to them by the Bucks this past week. So give me the Chargers. I'm going to go, you know what, 23-20.
Yeah, I know the Broncos have been playing some really good football the last couple of weeks, but I do think that the Chargers are going to rebound, that they're getting beat this past week. Give me the Chargers in a very competitive game. Give me the Chargers 20-17 on a game-winning field goal. Up next on the schedule, we have the Texans taking on the Chiefs.
Yep, and this is a rare Saturday afternoon game, might I add.
Yep, and I'm going to start this one out with Ezra. Upset special. He has the Texans over the Chiefs, 28-21.
He probably said that because he didn't think Patrick Mahomes was going to be able to play in this game. But I'm going to go ahead and rattle off Kevin's score here. He's got the Chiefs over the Texans, 27-21. And I'm going to side with the Chiefs as well. I mean, because Patrick Mahomes, whether he has his leg in a cast or whether he's on his deathbed, he's going to find a way to play in the game on Sunday. So give me the Chiefs to win this one. I'm going to go 28-23.
Almost similar score. Give me the Chiefs in this one as well, 27-23.
Yeah. I don't care if Steven was the quarterback of the Chiefs. He'd have the Statue of Liberty play all day long. 31-17 Chiefs.
Oh, outright. Okay. And by the way, before we continue, I did fail to mention this. The Texans wrapped up the AFC South Division with their win and the Colts losing.
Yep, they did. All right, and there is also another Saturday.
And this is going to be a good one.
This is going to be a good one. Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers going into Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.
This is going to be a critical game.
Yeah, it will be. This is going to be a slobber knocker, as who would say? Jim Ross.
By God, slobber knocker, King, slobber knocker.
I got Baltimore at home 23-16 by a touchdown.
Okay.
Damn, man. Almost same score as me. Give me Baltimore 24-16.
All right, let's see. Kevin is picking the Ravens over the Steelers 30-29. And honestly, I'm going to go around that same trajectory. It's going to be the Ravens pulling this one out on a game-winning Justin Tucker field goal, 31-28.
And Ezra is going to clean sweep this picks part, giving the edge to Baltimore 31-26. Up next, we have another shitty football game starring the Atlanta Falcons playing the New York Giants.
Yawn. I'll go ahead and start things off with Kevin's score. He's got the Falcons winning 21-17. And I am going to go with the Falcons as well, just because they are a better team than the Giants. But this is going to be a snooze fest from the kickoff. So give me the Falcons to win this one, though. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Falcons, 15-8, and the Giants get 4 safeties.
Yeah,
15-8.
give me Atlanta and a
No,
snoozer.
no. As a matter of fact, 5 field goals against 4 safeties.
Oh. Give me Atlanta as well, just because they're the better football team than the Giants. Give me Atlanta 17-14.
Okay.
Yeah, give me ATL 30-13. I think they're going to turn it on the Giants at home.
Ezra's picking the Falcons as well, 24-13.
All right. Up next in the jungle, we're gonna have the Cleveland Browns going into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals.
Let's see.
And this was a game that I mentioned was going to be on Thursday night, but now has since been moved to Sunday.
I'm going to start with Ezra's score. Ezra is picking Cincinnati 28-18.
And Kevin is picking the Bengals over the Browns 35-21.
I'm going to follow suit with Cincy. Give me the Bengals to continue to stay alive. Give me Cincinnati 34. Wait for it. To 16.
Oh my gosh.
Jameis Winston throws 3 more picks.
Not to mention you giving the Browns a 16-point struggle bus again, but you also said staying alive.
I did drop a BG's reference. There you go. Let's go.
Put on your platform, Steven.
That's right. Trying to get funky like a monkey, if you will.
But give me the Bengals to win this one. I do think Jameis Winston's going to struggle once again because he just don't have it anymore, and especially since Nick Chubb is now confirmed out for the rest of the season because of a broken foot. Give me the Bengals to win this one outright. I'm going to go, let's say 28-13.
Yeah, I got Cincinnati 26-21. It's going to be a close game, but the score is going to be different than what we see on the field in this one, in my opinion.
Oh, look at Isaac going the Kevin route, a divisional game. Okay. But yeah, sure. like the song by Metallica goes, the struggle within, it suits you fine. Struggle within, you're ruined. Anyways, that's for Jameis Winston and the Browns.
Yep, up next from the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, it's going to feature Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers playing host to Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals.
Let's see. Ezra is picking the Cardinals in this one, 27-18 over Carolina.
And Kevin is picking the Cardinals as well. He's picking the Cardinals 24-15. I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well. I do think it's going to be a close game, though, because the Panthers, even though they have been on the short end of the stick past couple weeks, they have been known to compete at some point. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals in this one. I'm going to go, 24-19.
Ooh, almost similar score to me as well. Give me Arizona in this one, 24-20.
Yeah, I got Arizona in a close one, 17-16. But it's funny. Carolina plays the teams they should be getting blown out by hard, but then everybody they should be beating, they're losing big too. So this is a weird one.
Yeah, this is a weird little situation right now. Oh my gosh. This is very fitting that we're going to this next game because I've been hearing a rumor that former Chicago Bears coach Matt Eberflus is going to be on the sidelines once again. The Lions and the Bears in the rematch from Thanksgiving, in which Eberflus got fired.
You're shitting me.
Yeah, I am. It's funny though.
It is. It is. Hey, I think Eberflus is still waiting for his pink slip.
I think he is too.
Yeah, Detroit faces Chicago in Chicago.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start things off with Kevin's score. He's got the Lions winning this one, 27-17.
That's been a little too nice. Give me Detroit to beat the living hell out of Chicago and send the Bears to their ninth consecutive loss. Give me the Lions in a rout, 41-14.
I'm gonna go with the Lions in a rout as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 34-9.
Yeah, I got Detroit in the route in this one, 35-10 over Chicago. But the high point is that Chicago's going to be in the game. They're going to have first and goal from the 1. They're going to hand the ball off to Ezra, and they're going to fumble and lose 90 yards.
Oh.
But they will recover the ball. They will recover the ball, and it'll be 2nd and 80. Or actually 2nd and goal with 80 yards to go. How about that?
There you go. All
Oh my
right.
God.
Up next, we have a game that also could be seen as somewhat of a snooze fest, considering their performances the past few weeks. The Will Levis-less Tennessee Titans, who have benched Levis because of another 3-pick performance, going into Indianapolis to take on the Colts.
Ezra is picking the Colts 20-10 over Tennessee.
Kevin is picking the Colts 27-18 over the Titans.
Okay.
I think that's a little too nice. Well, I actually no, I think that's a little too high. Give me the Colts to win this one, 19-13.
Yeah, give me Indianapolis. Give me the Colts. Give me Indy 17-7.
Yeah, give me Indianapolis 23-21. But this is the only game Ezra's going to get out there in his area. I'm going to make sure every other game is blacked out for the day. Love you, Ezra.
Oh my gosh.
Ezra's sitting there thinking, playing that John Cena soundbite going, what the fuck?
All right. Up next, from the Meadowlands up in New Jersey, the LA Rams going into New York to take on Mr. Enigma and the New York Jets.
Sir, yes, that documentary title is legendary. He is an enigma after all.
But Kevin is picking the Rams over the Jets in a surprisingly close one, 20-17.
What? Wow.
Give me the Rams in this one. I'm actually gonna go with a little bit of an odd score. Check the score out. Rams 25, Jets 12.
Huh. Ezra's picking the Rams as well, 28-17 over the Enigma Jets.
Yeah, tell them to get out of my head because that's what I have. Rams 28-17 over the Jets. And at this point, I think Aaron Rodgers is just going to walk over to the Rams sideline and ask if he can be their backup quarterback at the same time.
I think Hijacker, ever since he figured out that was the same score that Ezra had, I think after hearing that, I think Hijacker needs a place for his head. Lincoln, a deep Lincoln Park reference for those that don't know.
Yeah, I do need to get checked out here.
But Steven, what's your score?
Yeah, give me Rams and the Jets. Give me the Rams as well. Give me the Rams 24-16.
All right. This next game. Oh, this is really going to break me right here. But this is the game that my team needs more than anything. Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders playing host to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, boy.
Man, I tell you what, I really, 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 really hate to pick against my boys in this game because I really, really, really hope we win, are able to pull this game out. But my gut is telling me to go with the Eagles. It's going to be a close one, though. I will say that. But give me the Eagles to win this one. I'm going to go 28-24.
Oh, almost a similar score to what Ezra has. He has Philadelphia winning as well. 27, Commanders 23.
And Kevin has the Eagles over the Commanders 27-20.
Same score as Kevin, 27-20 Philadelphia.
Yeah, I got Philly 29-22.
Oh, look at that score.
Look at that score. Wow.
No
Okay.
safeties. No safeties.
For once.
I may change my mind when the game starts, though.
Alright, but that is the last of the 1 o'clock game, so let's move to the one and only 4:05 game on the schedule. And that one features Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings going up to that 12th man to take on the Seattle Seahawks.
Going to start with Ezra's score here. He's got Minnesota winning against the Seahawks 31-21.
And Kevin has the Vikings over the Seahawks 21-10.
Give me Minnesota as well to dominate the Seahawks 27-13.
Yeah, I got Minnesota 29-17 on this one.
And I got Minnesota. I'm going to go 28-18 in this one.
Same score as Ezra has for the Bengals and the Browns.
All right. Oh, this one. Another snooze fest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Vegas to take on the Raiders.
Oh, God, we have to pick this game.
You know what? I'm going to go and start with Kevin's score. He's got the Jaguars winning this one 17-15, and he thinks the Raiders are going to kick 5 field goals. But give me the Jaguars as well. You know what? I'm going to go 18-14. I don't care.
Whoa. Yeah. You get two bad, mediocre football teams, and this is what you get. Give me the Jaguars as well. Give me Jacksonville. I don't know. 23. Yeah, 23-10.
Yeah, give me Jacksonville 23-13, and Las Vegas is going to ask Oakland if they want to make a trade.
Oh.
They want to go expansion team now.
All right, well, now let's move to a 1 o'clock game that was at the beginning of the season that has now been flexed to a 4:25 kickoff. And that, of course, is Drake May and the New England Patriots going into Buffalo to take on the MVP candidate Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And I'm going to go and start off with Kevin's score on this one. He's got the Bills over the Patriots 34-17. I'm going to go with the Bills as well outright because it's the Bills and Josh Allen always feasts on the Patriots. So give me Josh Allen and the Bills on another 4-touchdown performance by Josh Allen. And he's going to ride his momentum to, yes, believe it or not, another 40-point game. Give me the Bills, 41-13.
Yeah, give me Buffalo in this one. Give me the Bills to beat the Patriots badly. Give me Buffalo by the score of 35-17.
Yeah, give me Buffalo 40-16, which Josh Allen will throw a 50-yard touchdown pass to himself. Mr. Perfect style. Mr. Perfect style.
Wow.
But did you read off Ezra's score?
I
Steven?
did not. Thank you for bringing that up. He has the Bills beating the Patriots as well, 37-14.
All right. The last 425 kickoff, and this one might be a little bit difficult. Brock Purdy and the San Francisco
This is going to be a
49ers
tough
going
one.
into Miami to take on the Dolphins.
I'm going to start this one out with Ezra's score. He has the Dolphins beating the Niners 26-23.
And Kevin is going with his Niners over the Dolphins 24-21.
That's the same score I have. Miami 24-21.
Oh.
Give me Miami as well. I don't trust this Niners team with all the injuries they've had. Give me Miami to somehow stay alive. Give me Miami 27-17.
Hey, quick question before we continue. Quick question.
Sure.
Did we ever find out what reason why Homeboy didn't go in and play for the Niners last week? Did they ever come out?
Yeah. He was just he just didn't want to play. He thought he was going to be starting a linebacker all year.
Yeah, we get paid and we don't do this, and yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so basically it was just his alter ego.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, you make that much money, get your ass in there and play, dude. It doesn't matter. The season's almost done. Now
Exactly. I mean, shoot. If it were me, I wouldn't mind signing, let's just say, a $500,000 contract just to sit on the bench all season. I wouldn't mind it.
Look, dude, I'm a blitz from the sideline and take Purdy down myself.
Right?
But as far as my pick is concerned, I don't know if I can trust this Dolphins team because they just looked really shaky to me over these past few weeks. So I'm actually going to side with Kevin. I'm going to go with the Niners.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Niners. I think the 49ers are going to pull this one off, and I think they're going to do it on a game-winning field goal, get this, in overtime. 27-24.
Okay.
Is that field goal going to bang against the upright and then hit the crossbar or the crossbar and go in?
No, this ain't the Kansas City Chiefs we're talking about here.
Oh shit, that's right.
No, this ain't the Kansas City Chiefs we're talking about here.
Well, maybe Flipper will return as a skeleton and dance around in the pool in the end zone or something.
Right.
But Sunday Night Football in Dallas features Cooper Rush and the Cowboys once again playing another home game against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm going to start with Ezra's score here. He's got the Buccaneers beating the Cowboys 27-16.
And I'm going to go ahead and say Kevin's score here. He's got the Bucks beating the Cowboys 31-12.
Huh.
I'm going to go just about the exact same score for Kevin's. Give me the Bucks 31-14.
Oh.
Yeah. I got Tampa Bay 27-16. I'm done with Dallas because every time I pick them, they lose. And then when I go against them, they want to win. So I Tampa Bay.
You know what? For all the Rush fans out there, check this score. 21-12, Tampa Bay.
Whoa, okay. All right, and back to just one Monday Night Football game this week, and it features the who knows who's that quarterback, New Orleans Saints going into Green Bay to take on the Packers. And I'm going to go and do Kevin's score right here. He's got the Packers beating the Saints 23-14.
Ezra has the Packers winning as well, 28-20.
And I'm going to go with the Packers as well. I'm going to go Packers over the Saints. Let's go 27-17.
Give me the Packers as well. Give me Green Bay 27-14.
Yeah, give me Green Bay 28-9.
Outright.
Yeah, Jordan Love looks too good right now.
All right, well, that'll do it for Week 16.
So that'll be interesting. That will be interesting to see how this all unfolds.
Yep, it's getting close to the playoffs, and it's time to fight for position. But most of the positions are already locked up.
Pretty much.
Yep, Texans clinched the
Pretty
playoff
much,
spot.
man.
The Bills did.
And
Chiefs did.
Yep, and quite a few teams can actually clinch spots on Sunday,
Pittsburgh clinched.
depending on how these games go.
Pittsburgh, I think, clinched. I think Baltimore can clinch this weekend with the win.
Yep, and we'll see if the Raiders can clinch the number 1 spot too. So
In the draft.
between them and the Giants, right? But the sad thing is,
The timing on that was perfect.
The timing on that was picture perfect.
Well, check this out. Who in their right mind, I know you want to get an NFL contract, but who wants to sit there and be the number 1 pick going to a team that's in rebuild mode? You know, that's got to be tough. You're going to get your money, yes, but do you want to go rebuild with a team that you're probably going to get fucking sacked 80 times? Because 8 out of 10 teams pick a quarterback most of the time with that number 1 pick.
Yeah,
True.
that is true.
But I got to roll, guys. I got to get going and get ready to start the shift, man. So as
All right,
always,
dude. Great job as always, man.
All right.
appreciate it, man.
Awesome
Thank you
job,
for letting
Hijacker.
me join.
Yep.
Thank you for letting me join. And if everybody wants a cigar, you know where to reach me. Smoking the Bay Cigar Review. Mr. Mac and Hijacker Mike are my personals. So hit me up, y'all. Boys, thank you. And we'll hopefully see you again next week.
All right, peace out, bro.
All right, guys.
You know what? I mean, I don't really know of anything else that we can talk about, Steven. Do you have anything?
The only other thing that I really have is from the UFC from this past week. There was an event in Tampa Bay this past weekend. Let's see.
Well, actually, before you go into details on that, I am actually going to go ahead and get my final thoughts real quick because I'm going to go ahead and get off because with me working today, I really haven't spent a lot of time with my wife or the baby. So before I call it and go to bed tonight, I want to spend as much time I can with them. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go in and get my final thoughts real quick.
Go ahead.
Great job as always. Loved having Hijacker Mike be on the show to do the pick segment with us. Hate that we couldn't have Ezra and Kevin, but of course we understand what they're both going through, and we wish them thoughts and prayers going up for them. And I do want to ask real quick. Since next Tuesday is technically
I'm glad you brought that up.
Tuesday is technically Christmas Eve, so what are we gonna do?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because for the very first time on this sports show's history, I'm so glad you brought this up. For the next 2 weeks, since Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve fall on a Tuesday, for the first time in this show's history, we will be live on Monday night.
Okay.
So mark your calendars for December 23rd and December 30th. We will do our shows normally scheduled for Tuesday. We are going to move these shows to Monday night. So very cool. For the last 2 weeks, we will be having Monday Night Football in the middle of the games for the next 2 weeks. So that's actually pretty badass.
Yes, it is.
So looking forward to that. So again, mark your calendars for next week. And I'm glad you brought that up because we will be doing that for the very first time. It was cool doing it again last week during the middle of the Rams and Niners game and all of that stuff. So again, folks, mark your calendars, December 23rd, December 30th. For the first time in this Sports Show's history, we will be going live on a Monday night in the middle of not just Monday Night Football, but Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yes, that is true.
So that will be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So yeah, I'm going ahead and letting everybody else know about the next two shows are going to be on Monday, so that way we can make proper preparations.
Yep.
But yeah, enjoy yourselves, enjoy the football this weekend, and just enjoy time with family and friends as we get closer to that amazing holiday we call Christmas.
Yep.
So until then, and until next week, peace out, gents. I'm out of here.
Great job, brother. See you next week. And before I get off the air, I do want to bring this up. UFC Tampa Bay took place this past weekend, highlighted by Jaquin Buckley knocking out Colby Covington by technical knockout due to a doctor stoppage. Also, Cub Swanson defeated Billy Quarantillo. I hope I'm saying these names right, so please don't shoot the messenger. I pronouncing these best names the best I can by knockout. Kate beat Gustavo da Silva by technical knockout due to a body kick and punches. Dustin Jacoby defeated Petrino by KO. Daniel Marcus defeated Adrian. Again, folks, sorry. Yanya's split decision. And Sterling defeated Tokos. I think I'm saying that right. I don't think I am. Decision unanimous. That was the main card. But anyways, folks, again, great job everybody involved here tonight. Shout outs to Hijacker. Shout outs to Joey for being on. And unfortunately, due to Ezra having to deal with a family matter with his family, he was not on with us tonight. And due to a personal matter, Kevin was not on with us again tonight. And we here, all of us here on the sports show, stand in the corner of Kevin on what him and his family are going through. So if Kevin can't be on next week, we understand. If he is not on next week, we'll obviously get his scores in before we go live. And again, folks, we will be going live on a special Monday night for the next 2 weeks, since Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve will fall on our normal show days of Tuesday. But we will be back at the start of 2025 at our regular day of Tuesday, January the 7th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. So again, folks, follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, where we are live on most Tuesday nights. Sometimes we have to, reschedule the show for certain days due to holidays and so on and so forth. You can follow us. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch all of our past archives and streams and stuff like that at youtube.com/Nation Sports Show, where we are live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. And also, don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook.com/Nation's Corner, and where they are live on most Saturday nights at youtube.com/The Nation's Corner. Be sure to join all the guys and gals as they recap the world of professional wrestling. And Saturday night's main event took place this past weekend, highlighted by Cody Rhodes defeating Kevin Owens in the main event. And very cool that Jesse the Body Ventura was on commentary for the first time in a WWE event for the first time in God knows how long. He killed it, did great. And also, shout outs to Chelsea Green on winning and becoming the first inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion. Gunther retained his world title against Damian Priest and Finn Balor in a triple threat match. Liv Morgan retained her Women's World Championship against Io Sky. And Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn to kick off the show. Looking forward to see what happens this week and the rest of the week of wrestling. And Monday Night Raw last night started off with a banger with CM Punk and Seth Rollins' opening segment. I love this segment. I love where they're going with this. I love how I popped during the segment when Rollins name drop Punk's by his CM Punk by his first actual name and calling him Phil. that was great. And just looking forward, to where they're going with this stuff. And they're already shaping up the first Raw on Netflix to be a big, huge show. And looking forward to seeing where this goes. And also shout outs to TNA. They had their pay-per-view on Friday. Final Resolution, the final pay-per-view for TNA this year in 2024. Damn good show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on Fight TV, I believe, or I know it's on the TNA Plus app. You can check it out on there and wherever TNA streams their pay-per-views, because sometimes they do it on Fight or Triller TV and on the TNA Plus app. So with that being said, I think this is a wrap, folks. Again, it's awesome doing this show with you guys every single week. We are blessed to have the things that we have in our lives. We are thankful. We are grateful for all of you guys that tune in every week. So want to give a shout out real quick to Big T and to my buddy Mike out there in New York for tuning in. Thank you, my brother. And to those that tune in on demand, thank you very much as well. And again, just as a quick reminder, folks, we will be live, not on a normal day of Tuesday, since Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve will be falling on a Tuesday. But we will be live for both days. We're going to be live on Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific at our normal start time. That way, we can not only get the show in, but we can also, more importantly, spend quality time with our family and our friends during the holiday season on Christmas and New Year's. So, again, thank you to Joey and to Hijacker for joining me here tonight. Thank you to Ezra and for Kevin for sending in their scores for this weekend's games. Week 16 should be a hell of a week for the NFL. And also the college football playoffs get underway this week. So we will enjoy that this weekend. Enjoy the sports. Enjoy the wrestling. Enjoy the time with your family and your friends. Be good to one another. Be good to each other. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into another outstanding edition of our Nation Sports Show. And thank you once again for Hijacker Mike and Joey joining me here tonight. So with that being said, for K-Rod, Kevin Rory, for Ezra Vickery, for William Gyron, Randy Gyron, and yes, even Sprocket, for Hijacker Mike, for myself, Stephen Wyand. Thank you for tuning in to this week to our Nation Sports Show. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you for our first live show on Monday night in the middle of Monday Night Football and Monday Night Raw. So it's going to be fun for the next couple of weeks, being live in the middle of wrestling and football going on at the same time. So again, folks, thank you for tuning in tonight, and we will see you next week for the next 2 weeks, live on a Monday night, live and in color. For K-Rock, Kevin Rory, for JT, Joey Thornton, for Randy Gyron, William Gyron, Sprocket, I've been your host for this evening. And the host for this evening, Stephen Wyand, and for Ezra as well. From all of us here on the Sports Show, thank you for tuning in tonight. And we will see you next week on a Monday night for another edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care of each other. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. Peace.
Turn me up.